In this video, we're going to walk through the toolbar in the generic tool. I've already connected to a vehicle, and you can see at the very bottom here the numbers are incrementing. I'm scanning a vehicle. You can see some of the PIDs moving, but what we're going to focus on is this main toolbar right here across the top. We're just going to go across from left to right. The first one, and again you'll note if you just move your mouse button over the toolbar icon button and hold it there for a second, you'll see a little balloon help open up and it says main task screen. So if we open up that, again it opens up the main task screen, and from here is a launching point to scan new vehicles and so on. And again, a lot of these are covered in other videos in more detail. The next item up is the vehicle communication screen. Okay, this is where screen's going to open up to allow you to connect to the vehicle. A little vehicle summary at the top. This is where you switch vehicle interfaces. Right now I'm connected cabled via an EVI 6000. Tells you your firmware is up to date, a little bit of date and time and so on. So let's close out of this screen. The next screen is select vehicle system. This is the generic tool, so it's only going to show me a generic vehicle system here. Had this been a GM or one of the other OEMs, you'll see all of the computer systems listed here. You'll see engine, transmission, ABS, airbag, and so on. And you'll see that in the other videos as I walk through those toolbars. So let's cancel out of this. The next screen is the data grid, and that's the one I'm on right now. So this is the data grid. Once you connect to the vehicle, this is essentially the main screen where all the data is. The next item is power tools, and this is another tool we've been working on, expanding the capabilities in. It has a cylinder power balance test, fuel trim test, volumetric efficiency, and automated O2 tests and so on. Moving on to the next, let me just jump back to the data grid here for a second. Next screen is the meters data. If we open up that, you can see the data in a large format: 1, 4, 9, min-max, min-max average, and so on. And there's also some with bar graphs, 2 or 8. So we'll just go out of here. Next screen is graphing. Let me just pick a couple things here to make our graphs a little bit more interesting. We'll look at mass fuel, mass airflow, and engine RPM, maybe a couple of the O2s. And let's look at some fuel trims. Let me turn these off. Okay, let's just look at that data right now, and let's open up the charts. And you'll see right now it's graphing across the screen. It's like a strip chart recorder. The lines have these little squares on them and so on. Those are all the valid sampling points coming back from a vehicle. I had those turned on. I was running some other tests. If you go to edit chart options here, we can turn those off, and we'll just go back here and resume scan. Alright, so that's what the graphs look like, and again we're going to cover a lot more of the details in here real quickly. We can control how many graphs we look at and so on. Moving across the toolbar, this is another option that's coming up. If you have our Universal Reprogrammer 2 system, you're going to be able to connect to various analog signals and graph them in the scan tool. Next screen up is the DTC screen. This is where you're going to go to look for error codes. You can scan for enhanced DTCs. You can look up a DTC description on the web or in the library, and again you can see them larger or smaller. Next screen up is the oxygen sensor screen. Identifies the O2 sensors on the vehicle and identifies what the configuration looks like, and provides a little chart and a grid. A lot of vehicles do not have this data supported, so don't be surprised if a lot of it says NA. Next screen is the inspection and maintenance data. This is where you're going to find all the continuous and non-continuous monitors, as well as if they're supported or complete or not complete, as well as some fuel system status, open and closed loop, power takeoff, and some other miscellaneous OBD2 data. Next up is Mode 6. That's where you're going to find all of your Mode 6 data. It's going to run all the tests, tell you if they passed or failed and so on. And at the very bottom here, you'll see misfire. If there's any misfire Mode 6 parameters, you'll see them there. You can look at it in grid format, raw data format, or in a nice report. Next screen up is Mode 9. So again, this is where you're going to find all your calibration IDs and CVN numbers, and it pulls the VIN from the vehicle. Next screen is freeze frame and snapshot data. If there had been a freeze frame on here, the data would show up here. This is where you're going to find snapshots. You can set up parameter groups to collect, so if you hit a function key, as you can see, it just automatically captures them. Next screen is compare vehicle data to reference values. Again, you just click a button, it collects all the data generically on the vehicle and compares it to high-low limits. This is being replaced by Vehicle MRI, which is much more comprehensive, and you'll be seeing that in the tool here shortly. Next button is the record button. If you want to do a recording, you just click on that and say OK. Once you've done a recording, to play anything back, you're going to click this button. Opens up the playback screen for all the files that you've done recordings on. You can see them all right here, and this is sorted out by a vehicle. Next option is the data logger. We have data loggers available, 2 models, one for pre-OBD2 vehicles and pre-CAN protocols, and this one is just for generic OBD2. And the next item up is reports. You can generate reports on a vehicle. There's a lot of pre-canned reports in the tool already. For instance, if you just want a Mode 6 report, you click on Mode 6, say View Current Report. You can see the header information on here. We'll just scroll down, and you can see the Mode 6 data. But again, you can build any kind of report that you want. Access through that toolbar button, and this button accesses all the libraries in the tool. There's a DTC library, acronym library, and a parameter library. And that is the walkthrough of the generic scan tool.